big year for Native American voters coming up in the midterm elections. We have a record amount of Native Americans running for office. In North Dakota, there has been a controversial law that was challenged in courts but ultimately upheld, requiring people to bring evidence of residential address to the polls in order to vote. There are many Native Americans in North Dakota who live on these tribal lands that typically don't have street addresses or street names, and it's making it very difficult for them to vote because in the past they could have used P.O. boxes, but now they are not allowed to use that, so it's making it very difficult for them to vote in the midterm elections. This change in policy has been said to prevent voter fraud, but many feel that it's unfairly targeting a minority group before a very important election. So let's hear what you guys have to say about it.
I think a good majority of that is like directly against the Native Americans. So that it doesn't like if you want to stop voter fraud, why couldn't we have done that earlier?
So the government is basically saying they can't vote.
That's like taking away just like people's rights because the government's like, we don't like you.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous because it's like indigenous people were some of the last people to get the right to vote, and now they're taking it away.
You know, I think everybody should be allowed to vote, even somebody without a home. So I find it pretty unfair.
Like a P.O. box could easily just like, you know, be in place of an address.
Share the same political views, same political opinions. Flynn and I were the very same people. I don't necessarily consider it voter fraud. It's obviously like, it's not a very, like there's no obvious reasons for them to be drawing the conclusion that you need to have an address to vote.
Political agendas and the segregation of Native people and or oppressees and minorities, it's just happening again. It's simple as that. It's this cycle that we keep going through in America that I think we have to break, and that's what I think.
I think it's pretty unfair. Like you can't, if you don't have like I don't know, it just seems like they're just making it harder for people to actually vote.
Just because you have an address doesn't mean that you're not going to commit voter fraud. It just means that you have a house.
Sounds mighty racist to me. I don't know. It does make sense though, like wanting to prevent like, you know, someone voting multiple times, someone like who's come in from outside the U.S. But I don't really know much about voting. I don't really know much about how things work. But yeah, I think it's unfair.